Hello guys, greetings. How you doing? I hope you are doing well. Welcome to Vinel TV. If you are new to this channel, and if you are, please consider subscribing. Thank you very much once more for stopping by. Today I want to talk to you about this particular topic. I received a Q&A, question and answer comment section of one of my video where I talks about how to invest in Nigerian stock exchange, and one of my viewer asks, how do I screen the fundamentals of stocks in Nigeria stock exchange? I just want to tell you how I do this, on my own initiative. I'm not a financial guru, but I know that I'm knowledgeable enough to be able to know the company to invest in Nigerian stock exchange. But without further ado, what you need to do is, I wrote down things that will help us, going forward, or what we need to discuss, to kind of give you a clue what you need to do in terms of screening of particular company you want to invest in, screen particular shares. For instance, if you want to invest, there's several loads of companies that registered in Nigeria stock exchange. It's more than, I think, about 160 something or 166. So it's quite a big tax, but you just need to pick few stocks and invest in. But you need to know that company. One thing I said that is you need to be knowledgeable, you need to read and assimilate, you need to know that company inside out. That is the main thing. You need to know that company inside out. You need to know what that company produce. You need to know their the market, in terms of the market, the supply, you need to know the supply and demand for in terms of what that company is producing. You also need to know if there's any plan in terms of how government support or any government incentive regarding that particular company or regarding that field. I'll come back to that in a little while. So I have actually, if you look up behind me, I wrote down things that we need to discuss. Okay, that's how I check the fundamentals for the company I want to invest in. This information is actually, you can get this information online via Nigerian Stock Exchange website, which is www.nse.com.ng. This is Nigerian Stock Market Exchange website, Nigerian Stock Exchange website. This information in terms of every company that are listed in Nigerian Stock Exchange need to, every now and then they tend to give what is called is the issue company results, company's action, to the investor, to the public. Okay, so what I mean by, for you to know, around I listed about 12 things we need to know about the company. Okay, so what I said here is, first of all, you need to be able to read the financial statement. Okay, financial statement of that company. You need to know how long that company has been in operation. You need to know the government support. Also, you need to find out if that company is paying dividend. Okay, this point I make now, I come back to that. The first one is, you need to read the financial statement. Go back more than 10 years of the financial statement of this company and see whether it's correlated in terms of their profit and gain. Check how return on equity, how they have been doing for the past 10 years. Just give you, if you can get information since that company, since its existence really, since it started, since when it commenced operation, you just need to read the financial statement of that company, see how long, maybe for the past 10 years, see what they have been doing in terms of their results. Okay, then check how long that company has been in existence. In Nigerian Stock Exchange, there's a lot of companies there. Some of them have been in existence, I know, since the 50s. Some of them changed them. I know Nesto, some of them are British companies actually. From there, they moved to local indigenous to Nigerians. Like also the same thing like applicable. Like for instance, Fort Oil used to be BP. Before from there moved to Fort Oil. From now to the next, the name they changed recently when Fet Otodala sold the company to a different petroleum company, so to say. I think it's Adewa or something like that. I need to check the name there. Photo Oil changed names. Just give me 1 second. Right, Photo is changed name to Adova, right? So before that company used to be BP, but now it changed to Adova. So without taking much of a time, what I'm doing here is to explain to you things we need to know in terms of screening the fundamental of stocks in Nigerian Stock Exchange. First of all, I talked to you about the financial statement. You need to read the financial statement. Go back about 10 years to read the financial statement of that company and see how they have been doing since then. Okay, but also you need to check how long that company has been in operation. You need to check if that company pays dividend. The company that pays dividend, it shows you that obviously they're in financial better position, in terms of to be able to pay dividend to the investors, because it is something that you need to think about. If you are planning to invest in Nigerian Stock Exchange, you need to think about what you need to gain in terms of the return on investment. If a company pays you dividend, you can use that dividend and buy that share more, and in that sense your portfolio will be growing. And there's something called compounding. Okay, so but that is, if you check my previous compounding, I mean is if you buy a share 10 naira for instance, and the company declare dividend of 50 kobo or 60 kobo, it depends on how many number of shares you got. If you add that up, you can use it and buy another share of that company. In that case, if you have 100 shares before, if you buy another one, it might be 110. With the dividend they paid, you can use it to buy more shares, maybe 5 or 10, I don't know, depending on how many the number of shares you got for that particular company. But company paying dividend is something that you need to think about. Okay, then also the government support. What I mean by government support is, for instance, I tell you, governments can have this incentive for company to come into Nigeria or build road. Then from the tax, corporation tax they're supposed to pay to the inland revenue, that will be subtracted. So the government, I remember when Apapa road or Papa Wharf area was actually, if you check that road now, I think it's still ongoing. There are quite a substantial number of companies that are building that road, and what they do is, in terms of the agreement they have with the government, is after they finish that road, they will subtract their expenditure, how much the cost of building that road, maybe in next 5 or 6 years, it depends, but I know they made an agreement with the Nigerian government, to subtract the cost of that road from their earning or from the tax they're supposed to pay. Some of them supposed to have like tax credit, tax credit or tax incentive. So you need to check in terms of government support for that particular company. What do I mean by government support? You know, for instance, another thing is some of the government initiative or government plans might actually be beneficial to that company. You know, Nigerian government is planning, you know, they're really keen of promoting agriculture, and in Nigeria Stock Exchange there's quite a lot of companies, you know, that are into agriculture, producing palm oil, you know, that stuff like that, or into agricultural business, so to say. You know, it's another. If you watch this video, if you want me to tell you the particular company, I can tell you the particular. I know there's, you know, in agricultural sector we have Okumo Oil, we have Presco. There's quite a lot of them who are into agricultural business, and by government closing down the Nigerian borders, it stops smuggling, because sometimes that is actually something that do hamper, you know, business profit, you know, profit of the business or profit margin of the companies. If people are bringing in adulterated, you know, fake drugs, you know, adulterated oil, stuff like that from neighboring countries and flooding it into Nigerian market, that will have effect on a knock-on effect on the companies that are invested in Nigeria Stock Exchange. So that is kind of what I'm saying, but you know, in terms of government support and government initiative that will help that company going forward. So you need to think about ideas where that government is going with in terms of their policy. Okay. Now the main thing we need, I said, is you need to know the company inside and outside in terms of their business and business industry. You need to know what that company is producing. If it's like Dangote, for instance, you know Dangote produce cement. You know Dangote produce Dangote sugar. You know it produce Dangote salt. You know it has Dangote flour, which was sold not long ago, last month or so. You know it's now back into petroleum, so to say. You know, and it's quite a big. You know, this is kind of things you need to know. For instance, okay, let's say if you go to supermarket and buy a pig milk, think about which company produced that pig milk you went to supermarket to buy. If you went to supermarket and buy Milo, think about which company produced that thing. If you went to supermarket and buy rice or oil or anything like that, anything you are consuming, think about, or you went to buy palm olive, or you went to buy anything, think about which company produced this, whether that company is in Nigeria Stock Exchange. These are the things, you know, things mass produce. Or think about, okay, for instance, Indomie. Which company produced that Indomie, whether they are listed in Nigeria Stock Exchange or not. Think of electricity. Think of petroleum, filling stations. You know, there's several Mobil, Total, all these companies that you see in Nigeria that are listed in Nigeria Stock Exchange. Okay, so these are things you need to think. Do your own research and find out what that company does, whether they are the lead in terms of that industry, so to say. Okay, think about it. Now, so like I said, you need to know the company inside out, their business operative. For instance, I'll give you another way for you to look at it. Dangote produce cement. You know, in Nigeria, there's no nooks and crannies you will not see Dangote cement. You will see Dangote truck. You will see every people that work for Dangote one way or the other in terms of their business supply. The same thing is applicable, not only Dangote, there's something that be applicable to Nigerian breweries. The same thing is applicable to Guinness. So, you know, so these are the things you need to check. Yeah. The second one we need to do is, like I said, you need to know the company inside and outside in terms of their business. Okay, whether they are the lead in terms of that business. Does the company have product or service with sufficient market potential for sale increase? You need to think about what that company is producing, whether there is a market and demand for it. You know, Nigeria is the developing country. There's massive population. People are building houses all the time. So there's demand for goods and services. You know, there's demand for banking. You know, there's demand for people building houses. There's demand for, you know, consumer goods. Food people are eating, you know, people are, you know, there's a demand for it, there's a demand for hotel industry. So these are the things you need to think about, you know, which company are within this field. Okay, so That's things, does the company have product or services with sufficient market? And also you need to think about, whether these companies, whether they have, leg, or whether they have operation in another country. For instance, like if it's banking industry, and a lot of Nigerian bank have branches in other African countries. It is semi-applicable to Dangote Cement. They have branches in so many places. Tanzania, all other countries, Togo, go to Abidjan, all other countries. So you need to think about how big that industry is. You need to think about, like for instance, UBA is in about 23 countries in Africa. It's here in London, in the US, Paris. So these are the things you need to think about, because sometimes, you can't just rely on company that only produce goods for Nigerian market. You need to think about, for instance, if Nigerian economy is not doing good, they can earn profit from other countries. So you need to think about how big is that company. That's what it's saying. Does the company have product or services with sufficient market potential for sale increase? The third one is good management plan for the future development and research. Does the company you want to invest in, do they have a good management plan in terms of the future plan? What is their plan in terms of future development? You need to think about what is their plan. What is their plan in terms of increasing sales? What they want to do in future development. This is so they need to have a good management plan. So you need to know that from that company. Okay. The fourth one is, does the company have above an average sales in terms of organization? What I mean is because at the end of the day, what matters is how you are pushing your product outside. The sales you make is actually determine the profit of that company. If you have a massive sales, obviously at the end of the financial year, that company will do well. So, in terms of how much sales are they making, or how much sales are they pushing out their product, how easily it is for them to push their product. Because if you have a problem in the road or the wharf or anywhere at the wharf or at the road where the factory is, or where the production company is, if they're not able to push their goods outside to the market, it will hinder their profit margin. So that is what you need to know. Does the company have above an average sales organization? For them company to have a sales organization, they need to have the product available to the market. The road, the transport system, the transport they have should be superb. It should be easy for them to distribute, their goods and services. And that in that case, they need to have regional managers in different places. Okay, so that is one thing. Number 4. Number 5 is, does the company have a worthwhile profit margin? You need to think whether that company, in terms of reading their financial statement, see their profit margin, whether they are making profit 10%, 20%, 30% per annum. Recently, I'll give you an example. Cadbury released their financial statement in Nigeria Stock Exchange, and their profit margin was 54%. Profit they made 54%. So that to show you that the profit is not a joke. It's not a tiny profit. If you invest in that company, obviously at the end of the day, at the end of the financial year, Cadbury pay dividend. I know I have been researching their companies. It's one of the dividend paying companies in Nigeria. So these are the good examples. What you need to do. Does the company have above average sales? Does the company have a worthwhile profit margin? The other one is what the company is doing in terms of maintaining and improving profit margin. So in terms of, you need to find out what that company is doing to grow their business. You need to find out what that company is doing in order to improve, whether the factory, for instance, whether they have, building a new factory to improve their capacity. Recently, for instance, this company that used to, pharmaceutical company, they opened a massive factory with the capacity to produce about, drugs. It used to have like 3,000 capacity, but they built a new factory with 80,000 capacities in terms of their production. The same thing is applicable in terms of how many tons or cement Dangote is producing, the same thing is applicable to BUA that recently merged with another company. So the capacity, you need to check how many capacities, how much, in terms of their increase in the capacity, you need to check that. Number 7 is, does the company have outstanding labor and personal development? The company you want to invest in, does it have outstanding laborers and for personal development? Personal development is like if you are employed in that company, you are there's a chance for you to grow up. For you can come in as a laborer and work yourself up in terms of development. So this is one thing you need to check, whether there's a personal development, like from UBS somebody can come in as a checkout lady, somebody that a cashier, and from there work himself up. Do more training. Sometimes they send people here, London Business School, for them to come in and do some management course to improve, their development. So you need to find out, in terms of how that company is doing, in terms of people that employing, whether you are in that company, whether they help you to grow. Some company can employ graduates, from there they go and do masters, company will sponsor it. So it is something that you need to think about, whether there is a good labor, market, whether people are happy to work for that company. Just ask man in the street what it is like to work in UBA, or what it is like to work in GT Bank, what it is like to work in Access Bank, what it is like to work in Dangote, what it is like to work in Nestle company. These are things, or work in USCN. Just ask these people that that work in there what it is like, to work with Fort Oil, being an employee, or you are employed with Fort Oil, what it is like, to work there. So these are the things you need to kind of do your own research. I won't come here and tell you, but it's something that you need to do this research and find out that company you want to invest in inside out. Know everything about that company in terms of their production, profit margin, return on investment, and equity. Whether they are paying dividends at all. So the other thing is, in terms of whether that company have a executive relationship. The relationship between the owner and employers and the management team need to be spot on. They need to be outstanding. So these are the things you need to check. Whether they have executive relationship, need to be outstanding executive relationship with employers, with top management team, and everybody need to be pushing, aspiring to make the company grow. So that company need to have outstanding executive relationship. Number 9 is, the company want to invest in. The company want to invest in need to have a good management team. So the company want to invest in need to have a good management team. Good management team is something that you need to think about. That, for instance, let's say UBA, the management team they got is always outstanding. The executive relationship between Tony Elumelu and the management team is superb. The same thing is applicable to Dangote Cement. The management team they have is superb. The relationship is always professional. So the same thing is Jim Ovia for Zenith Bank. You need to think about this, and they tend to have people who are smart in their industry. The same thing is applicable to Lafarge. So they need to have a good management team. Number 10 is good cost savings analysis and accounting. The company want to invest need to have a good accountant. They need to have a good accounting record. But also they need to make a savings plan. They go for, if they want to build anything, they need to build something that will last, but also is something that they need to make sure the cost, they need to check the cost, and see where that cost is in terms of how profit, or whether it is it really worth it investing in that product. This is one thing you need to understand. Make your own research and find out how the company is. You can do the research about individual who is managing that company. Let's say you can say, okay, who is the chief executive of Zenith Bank? Who manage it? Because Jim Ovia is the main boss, but there's other people who manage that day-to-day running of the business. So these are the things you need to know. Just check their credential, check how long they've been in the industry, whether they know the industry out, whether they study, what they study, somebody that studied accounting or somebody that studied BSc economics, things like that's one thing you need, or somebody that studied business, it's something that you need to know. You can't just bring somebody who is a medical doctor to manage your business, whereas it's not, in his profession, in his or her profession, to do that. So you need to think about in terms of what that person bring to the company, or in terms of the caliber, or in terms of the quality that individual got. Okay. The other thing is good future plan. The company want to invest, need to have a good future plan in terms of where they want to be in next 5 years. You invest in stock market is for the future. You want to invest in a company that that will outlive you. You want to invest in a company that will pay you dividends as long as the company is in existence. You check, there's quite a few companies in Nigeria that pay dividend for the past more than 10 years record, and they keep on going. These are the things you need to check, because at the end of the day, that is you are part of this company. Buying a share in particular company means you are part of the owner. Buying a stock in Dangote Cement, or buying Fort Oil, or buying UBA, or buying Zenith means you are part of the owner of that company. You are part of fabric of that company. Sometimes at the end of the financial year, they tend to have where they send meetings for the investors to come in and prove the financial statement. The managers will come in and tell you, give you the details how the company did within that particular year, and if you guys are happy to approve their dividend plan or approve the next plan. People who want to retire, they need to appoint people who need to replace those ones. They need to approve the dividend. Some people, I live in the UK, I don't attend this, but sometimes I send my brother, they send me, you fill a proxy form, for you to send your relative to go and represent you and vote on your behalf. So as an investor, if you invest in that companies, any company that you invest in, you need to go to their financial meetings. At the end of the year financial meeting, they have financial meeting, a lot of them in Oniko in Lagos, some of them in Abuja, but I think majority is within Lagos State, because Nigerian Stock Exchange is situated in Lagos. So you go there and they give you the financial statement, just give you the brief in terms of what they have done, also tell you the future plan, what they want, or where they want to be in next 5 years, and for the investors, for the shareholders to make a decision to approve it before. This is how it works. Okay, so it's about, the other thing is the last but not least, whether the company is open to investors. Open, what I mean is being transparent to the investors. And being an open is where you go, the company will tell you, this is what we produce, or this is how we did in this financial year, this is our expenditure, this is what we did, and this is the profit we got. Or if they make loss in that particular period of time, they tell you the reason, genuine reason why they encounter loss. Because sometimes company, there's several things that can make company to go bust or not profitable, so to say. If for instance, where there's a lot of goods that are coming from the border and flooding into Nigerian market, that will have effect on companies that produce consumer goods. Or if they bring in a adulterated drug from different country, that will have effect on the sales of companies, pharmaceutical companies in Nigeria Stock Exchange. If for instance, Fedsin that produce pharmaceutical products, if the people are bringing in various medications or various medications into Nigerian market, which is actually not up to the standard, but for some reason, this, if they are not being regulated, it will have knock-on effect in terms of the profit margin of that company. The same thing is applicable where, welcome back. The same thing is applicable, like I said, where a company produce like cement and people are shipping cement online stuff from different countries to come into Nigeria. It will have effect on the product of Dangote. The same thing is applicable if producing tomato, oil, anything like that. So you need to find out how government is helping these companies to survive. Okay, by closing the border, I know that is a good incentive. It helps a lot of Nigerian companies. Cadbury, was able to, make 54% profit this year. I mean, December last year, the 31st of December, because government helped and closed the border. So, and when that border was closed, Nigerians start buying their product. Okay, that's something you need to think about. So, being an open, if a company need to be open to investors, telling people exactly how things are going, when it's going good and when it's going bad, and when there need to be a change or make a tweak, like changing the plans they have in 5 years time. So you need to have invest in a company that will outlive you. You need to invest, check about how long that company have been in existence, their management team, their financial, their financial background, really, what they are doing, what they are producing, whether they are the top dog in that field. In Nigerian Stock Exchange, there's different various subgroup, so to say. Premium standard, there's a company that belong in that premium. There's a company that belong in financial sector. There's a company that belong in conglomerates. There's a company that belong in commodities section. So there's a company that belong into industrial goods. So on each of these companies, sectors, I'm calling to you and telling you now, you need to find the tops companies in that sector. In financial, industrial goods, in the commodities section, in insurance section, in banking and finance section. These are the things, things you need to do. This is how to be able to do this, screen the fundamental of stock in Nigerian Stock Exchange. Screen the fundamental of stock that you want to invest in. You need to read the financial statement. Go back and dig the financial statement. You can find this information in terms of the financial statement. If you go to Nigerian Stock Exchange website, okay, you can go back there and go to the issue section. You see company results. If you click that company result, it will tell you. At the moment, I'm on Nigerian Stock Exchange website. If you go to the issue, right, you will see companies disclosure. If you go back, you will get this information here. Okay, you will go back. Right, I want to show you what is it. The first thing that I see now is you need to select entry, select all if you want to find the information you're looking for. Standard IBTC Holdings, they disclosed that their management, their director resigned as of October 2019. They also tell you that somebody else has been appointed. So the information you need to know is that Airtel, it shows you shares delisted by a PMDR. That's October 2019. The same thing May and Becker. It will show you their financial statement. May and Becker PLC Q2, which is third unaudited financial statement for period ending September 2019. The same thing. This is how you check this information. If you go back also, you can see C&I listing. You can see UAC of Nigerian, resignation of manager and appointment of director. So this information is here. You need to go to Nigerian Stock Exchange website and dig out this information you want to know. You need to do your research and you need to read financial statement, read papers, read books. It will help you. This information I'm telling you now is in this Common Stock and Uncommon Profit by A. Fisher. It will tell you what to buy. It will tell you what to buy and actually tell you when to sell. So investing in stock market is also, you need to know your country, how your company is doing in terms of where your company is, in terms of transparency. Okay, this information about investing, you get the information on Nigerian Stock Exchange. Go to corporate disclosure. You will get that information you need in terms of the financial statement of that companies, of any particular company you want to invest. But you must do your own research. You probably need to go to market and see what Nigerians are buying all the time. Nigerians use oil. Nigerians use cement all the time. Nigerians do a lot of finance. They go to bank, stand in a queue. You know, Nigerians buys goods and services. Nigeria use go to fly abroad, use aeroplane. There's people who are into who owns company in terms of, you know, transport company. There's company that, you know, people who owns company like you know, that produce goods and services. There's company that's into managing actually a registrar, like Prudential is a registrar. You know, it's pretty much like, you know, they are the one that managing the affairs of company. Any shares that you buy for in particular companies will go to, they are the one that will pay you. When a company declare a dividend, they are the one to pay you, because that company will not pay you direct. Is the registrar that need to check whether your name is that on their register and see how much shares you bought for that particular company. So Africa Prudential is there. You know, it's something that you need to check. But what I'm telling you now is what I normally do. You know, go to the lead on financial sector, go to the lead commodity section, go to the lead on industrial section, go to the lead in insurance sector, go to, you know, go to the lead in terms of people that produce goods and services. Okay, this is how to do the fundamental. There's no any other way other than for you to read the financial statement, check the company inside out. Read the company. You need to know that company inside out. Okay, and you must also have in mind that investing in stock exchange is a long time. So you need to think about if that company will be here in 10 years time, in 20 years time, whether that company will outlive you. You know, some companies in Nigeria have been in Nigeria since 56 or 53, before independence. They have been there. They might change names, you know, like I said to you, Fort Oil changed, it was BP before, they changed to Fort Oil, now to Adova. The same thing, you know, UACN have been there for a long period of time. Nesto have been there for a long period of time. So these are the companies you need to think about how long that company has been in existence. You know, the same thing applicable with GlaxoSmithKline, GSE, you know, whether it have affiliation with UK. You know, GSE Nigeria have affiliation with UK. The same thing applicable to Lafarge. Lafarge also have affiliation with Lafarge South Africa. So that's what I'm telling you in terms of it. They don't only belong to, you know, they don't just only have market in Nigeria. They have a market other places. Like UBA have about 23 branches in other countries. You know, UK here, France, United States, all other West African countries. You know, the same thing is applicable to Dangote. Okay, so I thought to explain to you. I want to read to you what intelligent investor Benjamin Graham said. He said that Benjamin Graham said that investing could not be clearer. An investment operation is the one which was built or which was done thorough analysis, okay, and promise safety of the principal and adequate return. So you need to think about company that you invest with a thorough analysis, okay, and with the analysis that you've done, you see the safety margin, what that company is at the moment and what that company is supposed to be. Because sometimes things happen in markets whereby For instance, Dangote Cement will be selling at the moment. It's selling at 170 something naira, not 174 naira or something like that. But deep down, that is not at what that company really worth. In terms of, if you read their financial statement, it will tell you that is not what, whether that company is overvalued or undervalued. The same thing is applicable to UBA, Nigerian bank. That actually some of them are undervalued compared to their peers, other African countries. That is something you need to think about. The company you want to invest in, whether it's overvalued or undervalued. And if it's undervalued, you are at better position, so that if it goes up, you get a profit. But if you buy shares of a company where it's too high, obviously if market goes up and down, and if it goes down, you have a lot of bruise, I call it. You have a lot of you will incur loss. So, but stock market, investing in stock exchange is something that you need to be mindful, in terms of the risk management, navigate the risk in terms of with some of the fundamentals that you've done. Doing the fundamental will make you to be in a better position to make informed choice, to make a good decision in terms of what company you want to invest in. Also buying a share when it's low. If you buy when it's low, the opportunity is there for it to grow. Okay, also think about it, like I said, company that pay dividend. If they pay you dividend, use that and buy another share for that company. In that case, in that sense, their portfolio will grow. So, and when your portfolio grow, so something compounding. If you buy 100 shares today, they pay you dividend for that 100 shares. You can use it and buy 2 or 3 again. The same thing is applicable. Some companies pays dividend twice in a year. I know Dangote Cement pay dividend 2 times in a year. The same thing is most of the Nigerian banks, the 5 FUGA, the major 5 ones, pay dividend 3 times in a year. Or let's say, okay, I know GT, Zenith, Access, UBA, some of them pay 3 times. The same thing is applicable like Floor Oil. The same thing is applicable with other companies. The same thing is applicable to Okumo. The same thing is applicable to a lot of companies. Just for you to do that fundamental check, do the due diligence. It is you. What I've explained to you now is for you to go and do your own research and see the company you want to invest in. But you must invest. An investment operation is the one which is done upon thorough analysis, and it promises you safety of the principal or what you deposited or what you invested in, and you have adequate return. Okay, so I leave you to think about it. Graham said that you must thoroughly analyze a company and sound off the underlying business before you buy the stock. So you must thoroughly analyze a company, the soundness of its underlying business before you buy its stock. The other one, you must deliberately protect yourself against serious loss. Doing that, how do you protect yourself against serious loss? Is by doing the fundamental check, checking whether that company you are buying is undervalued or overvalued. If you buy it when it's undervalued, then you know that even if it's going down, it will not be bruised, it will not hurt you so much. But if you buy it very high, if it's going down, because the market is up and down, there's a volatility in the market. This is something you need to understand. Market is something that you invest in for long run, not just chicken in and chicken out. What I mean by that is coming in just now and just make a quick profit and go. No, it's about long-term perspective. It's about investing in the long run. Okay. The other thing intelligent investors say is you must aspire to adequate, not extraordinary performance. You must make sure that you have adequate performance in terms of return you have. That company needs to aspire to make adequate return. Consistently, slow and steady win the rest. So it's steady that is actually matters. It's not about let's make the 100% margin today. No, it's about long-term gain. It's all about long-term plan. Okay, I hope this helped you. So just to recap, right? Sorry to waste your time, but this will help you. Just make sure you know the company inside and outside, the business and everything. I'm sure this is what will help you. You just need to how to scream the fundamental of stock in Nigerian Stock Exchange. Thank you very much. Please, if you like what I'm about, please hit the subscribe button, share this information with your friends and family. This is how to do the fundamental. It's a long video, but I take time just to explain to you what you need to do. It's about reading the financial statement. It's about making sure do your own research properly, and going through every section of Nigerian Stock Exchange and find out the leading companies within that field. Look at them properly, look at their management team, look at the staff, go around the state and ask people what it is like working for this company. You will hear from the horse's mouth, you will hear from them. In that case, you make informed decision. I hope that this helped you. Thank you very much. Please, if you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Thank you.